the offer of this wonderful honor made me reflect a bit on my career, and what I'd like to do for the next few minutes is just share a few of those reflections, especially directed at the students here tonight who have the majority of your work life ahead of you. My career has been an eclectic career, somewhat purposefully so. I viewed a career as a journey and something to be enjoyed along the way. Some of the stops in that journey were, at the time, unfashionable or somewhat unconventional, and in some cases questioned by my contemporaries in terms of the risk that I was undertaking. For example, I moved to the Middle East when it was viewed as really a kind of unglamorous backwater of the world. I came here to Atlanta to head corporate banking for Citicorp at a time when the South was viewed as not the most active market in corporate banking. I later left a big, prestigious bank to join a commercial finance company that at the time was near insolvency, and I did that in order to join a turnaround team. So a lot of these decisions were somewhat unconventional, and the lesson for me over the years has been it's not the job that you attain, it's what you do with the job that you're given. Now, one of my favorite movies growing up was a movie called First Time for Sergeants, which starred Andy Griffith. And in that movie, and most of you in the room, particularly the students, are too young to remember the movie, but in the movie he played an Army private who was sort of a country boy, a little bit dim-witted, but very exuberant, and he drove his sergeant nuts. The sergeant, to retaliate, made him PLO, which stood for Permanent Latrine Orderly, which essentially meant his job was to clean the latrines. And he did it with such enthusiasm and gusto that at the first inspection, he brought the sergeant in. The bathroom, the latrine, was sparkling, and he pressed a button, and all the toilet seats snapped to attention. To me, that's a story of recognizing in every job the opportunity to make a difference. I used to tell my students at Georgetown, and these, by the way, were students who had exalted views of what their first job would be out of graduate school and who were pretty much destined for a come-down. I used to tell them, there are no boring jobs if you commit yourself to change what you touch, to improve what you touch. As the video showed, I've also been accused of bringing on crises. And just to go over that again, because this is the story of my life, I went to Lebanon and 200 people were evacuated within 2 weeks of my arrival. I went to Lebanon and the Shah fell and there was a revolution. It was in New York on 9/11, and as the video pointed out, I arrived in the Fed job in March of 2007 in time to usher in the worst recession and financial crisis in decades. Now, I don't take full credit for all those crises. The world is a capricious place, and careers are sort of zigzag affairs. In my case, I always had the idea of not only trying to move up, but also trying to move up and diagonally. That is to say, I wanted to have the experience of working internationally, and then in the domestic private sector, and then in the academic world if possible, and then ultimately in public service. And I've been very fortunate. I've been very lucky to do that. And I have done that through some outstanding organizations. In fact, by my count, I've either studied in or worked in or with 4 businesses, 4 academic institutions, 2 government agencies, 1 military organization, and quite a number of not-for-profits. We live in a society of institutions. And I think, in fact, the strength of the country, I think, is the strength of our institutions. It's very easy to overstate individual accomplishments when we all know the reality is that we are nurtured and carried in our careers and supported by the institutions in which we work and the colleagues with whom we work. My advice to the young students is aspire to join a great team. The individual accomplishments and the successes will follow, but be a member of a great team. I've tried to be a team player over the years, but it, quite frankly, was a learned quality. I believe that you have to park your ego at the door and think of company over self, and if you're in business, client over company. And the rest has a tendency to take care of itself. So again, I want to thank the Georgia State University Robinson College of Business and everyone associated with this award for a wonderful honor. Quite frankly, I don't think I'm worthy at a personal level based on accomplishments. I have not, in my mind, had brilliant individual accomplishments, but I have had the opportunity to participate on outstanding teams. And to the students in the audience, that's what I wish for you. Thank you very much.